Graduation day is supposed to be simple. You walk across the stage. You shake a hand. Your family cheers from the crowd. At least, that's how it's supposed to be. For weeks, everyone kept asking the same question. Is your dad coming? I always gave the same answer. Of course he is. But the truth was, I wasn't sure. My father had never been the type to show up. Birthdays, school events, even small celebrations. Work always came first. Still, this felt different. Graduation only happens once. So a week before the ceremony, I asked him directly, "Will you be there?" He didn't even look up from his phone. "I'm busy that day." Just like that. Like it wasn't important. At first, I thought he was joking. But my father didn't joke about work. His job was everything to him. Long hours. Late nights. Endless phone calls. Growing up, I understood it. Or at least I tried to. Whenever he missed something important, he would say the same thing. "I'm doing this for the family." So when he said he couldn't come to graduation, I waited for the rest of the sentence. Maybe he would change his mind. Maybe he would say he'd try. But he didn't. Instead, he said something worse. "Graduations aren't that important." That sentence stayed with me. Because to me, it was one of the most important days of my life. My mom tried to soften the situation. "He's just stressed from work," she said. But I had heard that excuse before. Too many times. The truth was simple. If something mattered to my dad, he made time. And apparently, this didn't. At school, everyone was excited. Parents were planning photos. Families were booking dinners. One of my friends asked me, "What row will your parents sit in?" I shrugged. "My mom will be there." They didn't ask about my dad again. But I could see the question in their faces. And honestly, I had the same question. Graduation day finally arrived. Caps. Gowns. Crowds of families filling the auditorium. Everywhere I looked, parents were taking pictures. Some were holding flowers. Some were holding signs. I searched the crowd once. Just in case. Maybe he had changed his mind. Maybe he decided to surprise me. But the seat next to my mom was empty. Completely empty. I tried not to let it bother me. But every time another student walked the stage, their families cheered loudly. And each cheer reminded me of something. My father wasn't there. And he had chosen not to be. The ceremony moved slowly. Speech after speech. Award after award. Then something unexpected happened. The announcer said there would be a short message. From a guest speaker. Someone from the local business community. I barely paid attention at first. Until I heard the name. It was my dad's boss. The CEO of the company he worked for. That caught my attention immediately. Because if his boss was here, then where was my dad? Surely he would be here too. But when I scanned the audience again, I still didn't see him. My dad's boss walked to the microphone. He looked confident. Professional. The kind of person used to speaking to large rooms. At first, he gave a typical speech. Hard work. Future opportunities. Responsibility. But then his tone changed. He looked down at a small piece of paper. Then back at the audience. "There's actually a student here today," he said, "whose story I recently heard about." I wasn't paying attention anymore. Until he said something strange. Their parent told them graduation wasn't important. My heart stopped. Because I had heard that sentence before. The room grew quiet. The CEO continued speaking. "I want to tell that student something." He paused. Then said clearly, "You worked hard for this moment. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve someone cheering for you." I felt hundreds of people listening. But it felt like he was speaking directly to me. Then he added something unexpected. Sometimes parents get so busy building a career, they forget the reason they started working so hard. And suddenly, the entire room felt heavier. People in the audience started whispering. Because now the speech didn't feel general. It felt personal. Very personal. Then the CEO said something shocking. I recognize that mistake because someone in my company said those exact words this week. A few teachers exchanged glances. Students leaned forward in their seats. Then he said it. An employee told his child that graduation wasn't important enough to attend. Now everyone was listening carefully. Even my mom looked confused. Because suddenly, this speech sounded less like motivation and more like a message. The CEO took a deep breath. Then he said something that made the entire room react. That employee works for me. The auditorium went completely silent. I asked him why he couldn't attend, and he said he had too much work. The CEO paused again, then said calmly, "So I checked the schedule. And you know what I found?" The silence grew even heavier. There was no meeting. No emergency. No deadline that couldn't wait. Just a choice. Then the CEO said something that surprised everyone. I told him something very simple. If your child's graduation isn't important enough for you, then the job you're choosing over them might not be the right place for you. Gasps spread across the room. Teachers looked stunned. Students whispered. Because this wasn't just a speech anymore. It was a public lesson. And suddenly I realized something. My dad's boss hadn't come here by accident. He came here on purpose. The CEO looked across the graduating class. Then he said something directly to us. Success isn't just about promotions. It's about the moments you show up for. He placed the microphone back on the stand. Then added one final sentence. To the student whose parent said graduation wasn't important. I'm proud of you. And the audience began clapping. Slowly at first. Then louder. Much louder. For the first time that day, it felt like someone was cheering for me. After the ceremony ended, people kept talking about the speech. Some called it inspiring. Others called it brutal. But I walked out of the building feeling something else. Validation. Because someone had finally said out loud what I had felt for years. That showing up matters. Later that evening, my dad called. For the first time all day. He didn't say much. Just one sentence. I heard about the speech. I didn't know what to say. But for once, the silence wasn't awkward. Because sometimes, the most powerful lesson is the one everyone hears. At the same time, accountability.